Hello, and welcome to part 19 of City Skylines 2 on our save of West Goldfield. Today, there's surprisingly many less problems. The biggest problem I'm seeing, though, is cost for resources, which brings me to the cost for everything in our production of natural materials. And it seems that we actually have very few things that we actually have a surplus of or equal amount, which is grain and livestock. So, I do want to look into maybe trying to get a few more industries today. Particularly, we need to get, I believe, coal and mineral and metal ore, because that's, I believe, how you get steel and coal, which is actually what is needed by our industry. Something else I want to point out is that traffic almost everywhere has resolved, which is a huge benefit. Except for over here, I think the problems are actually looking pretty good. So, I think now we should just look at where natural resources are. As we can see, there isn't a ton of areas where there is a sufficient enough area that we would want to farm, or somewhere that it makes sense to, because we do, remember, have to build a city over here. Well, not have to, but we're going to. As far as areas where we could get coal and or metal, it's on our already developed houses here, which honestly a lot of them are becoming abandoned, so who knows, if too many of them do, we might convert that area to a mining area. The rest of the ore is just so far away. We have very little. But that doesn't mean we can't do anything. So, I think here we can just take a highway, or well, an alley, and bring it this way. Now what we can do is just take the guidelines and zone in this area to be used for mining. Hopefully that does a decent amount to helping our problems with materials. But, I mean, there's really not a ton we can do. The other industry that we can super easily get is for mining stone. Stone mining can be placed anywhere, and we do have a pretty decent deficit. So just for now, because we do have something over here anyways, I think that we'll put it here. Now we do have to get power over here, and the easiest way to do that is just to put power lighting along the highways. And as far as water, we can just take an underground pipeline. I think I'll put it under the highway for now. Now I think what we could look towards is building more homes and businesses. Now the easiest way to do that, as I've already been doing with these old, like, kind of European buildings, is just to take them and place them down, because they have both medium density housing and businesses in them, and I think they actually look quite nice. That seems to be our medium density demand gone. Oh no, it's creeping right back up. That's a good thing. Now what I do want to do now is also just add a little bit more connectivity to the city, and the easiest way for me to do that is just to take a road like this. There we go. Now people can walk from, or well, vehicles can also go from here to here if they are like a post van or a police car. Now you want to check on our mailboxes, and we can see it's about time we put another mailbox. I do think that I'm going to continue making this area these sorts of buildings because I do really think they are cool. Though we don't have any demand right now, it's still good to plan. I will have to make this road go a different way if we do want to put another tile here, but I'm sure that's fine. Now once we get demand, we can zone it in. And as we see, this high density building has zoned in. Just to pass some time, I will also put some trees there. I really do just love this area, especially because of these overpasses where pedestrians can cross. And as we can see, they're being used quite nicely, and I think that that's a really nice thing, as it connects the city and especially connects our trams. Speaking of the trams, we can see that there are quite a few people waiting on each one. I don't think it's enough to the point where we should add another tram, so I think I'll just leave it for now. We can see that we have more medium density demand, which means we can build more homes. Now I do want to continue laying down the roads connecting this area over to this one, so I'll just continue doing that now. That is the grid laid down, and I did have to pause the game, unfortunately, just because I did have to adjust the highway. But I think demand should come back soon. And now we do have a bit of money in the bank, which is actually enough to pay off our loan. Now, I do just want to wait, but I also, at the same time, want to build, more of our industrial area, just because it is really, just lacking, and there's not a ton of jobs, because as we can see, I believe unemployment is actually one of people's problems, and it is taking away from the city, although wealth is still abundant. So I'm going to put it in 3 times, but while we are in 3 times, I am going to look at areas to build. I do think I've mostly decided on where I'm going to continue to build industrial, and I think the answer is over here. Now, I do think that I am just going to wait on money, because I have a pretty ambitious idea. I have talked about before just taking this highway and launching it across the water from here all the way to here, so that we can just essentially void the underground highway, and so that we can develop more over here. And I think that that's what I'm going to go for. But the problem is, we have to buy 3 zoning tiles over here, which costs a lot of money. Well, maybe not 3, maybe... Well, no, we've definitely got to buy that one. We don't have to buy that one, but if we want to build anything, we probably should buy that one. We have to buy these 2 for sure, and ideally this one, which is $560,000 and a huge amount of upkeep. With that said, though, there is a decent amount of wood and oil, and I guess we can get maybe some fishing industry at our next milestone. But other than that, there's not a ton of benefit to it. But I do think that that's the play. For now, though, I am just going to continue zoning in, and once we get the money, that's what we'll do. The other part of me just wants to take out a loan and do it now, because we really do just have industrial demand with absolutely no drawbacks. Unlike commercial, unlike medium density, unlike high density, and unlike low density. Plus, it would solve the problem of unemployment. Now, I do just want to check on our college, and I'll address that in a minute. And we can see that we almost have 5,000 people, which is pretty huge. Not sure why there's a hearse coming here. I mean, how does someone die at college? But this is looking like it might actually be a real issue soon. The reason I say that is because in other cities, particularly not on like vanilla maps, but on modded maps. One time it just kept spreading and kept spreading and somehow got over to a nearby tree and jumped super far and got to a building. So part of me actually wants to like get a firefighting helicopter depot, but we definitely don't have the money for that. Now though, I am just gonna take out a loan and build the highway. And that's the actual bridge built, and I think that that looks pretty cool. Oh my goodness. That's not great, but I think we'll be fine. I think it's moving the opposite direction. Anyways, that's our bridge built, and I think that it actually looks pretty good. Although, I am kind of second guessing it, just because I don't think a ship can actually get under here. And I do think I want to build like a port there. So I do think I have to break it and start again, unfortunately. Which is a ton of money down the drain, but what can we do? That, I think, is much better. And I hope that a ship can fit under there. But if it doesn't, I'm sure we'll be able to fix it. Now what I want to do is check the grade and kind of guesstimate what I think it will be for a pretty even descent. This highway system, I think, is looking pretty great. I think the bridge looks pretty nice, and it also did clear up just a ton of room for us to build. But there is one more change I would like to make, which is raising this highway. I'm aware this is well, maybe I won't actually, because there isn't a slope there, and I think that that is pretty fitting. Something else, though, is the amount of cars on it is insane, and it just shows you how many cars were using the underground tunnel. Which makes me think this was a well worth it upgrade. See, now, this is a problem. That, why is that tree on fire? Tell me, yeah, my power plant's getting set on fire, guys. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Again, though, with the abandoned buildings, I'm just not sure why this is happening, and it seems to be like a consistent theme between offices, mainly. Who knows, but I also think that traffic, at least going this way, is now going to be much better, as now we have more lanes and just a better flow of traffic. Now, I did think that the road diet was working, and I think it still mainly is, but I don't think it's working quite as well. Because if we get rid of those, we can see, cars are still taking a while to merge, and it's still taking a while in the actual roundabout. Now, I can't put a slip lane because there just isn't enough room, but yeah, I don't know. But what we can definitely do now is check our demand and see we've got plenty of it, and that means we can build a few buildings. I don't think we should build anything here, really, because it is kind of right near a path, but at the same time, I think we can, because it is a walkable city. And then we have two more buildings there. Again, high density demand is here, and I think we can build another one of these similar towers right next to it. And that actually seems to be demand gone. Oh no, it's not. That's nice. So we still have demand for high density. Now, I'm not sure where I want to build more high density. Maybe we could do a few buildings here. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I think we can put a building there. And I think we can put another one there, but we don't have demand. So we'll do that later, at another time. I am seeing that there is just a massive amount of traffic, which I am not really sure why. I am seeing that there's also one lane only, which I believe can be fixed if we switch this to just be a 4-lane road without a median. And that should give more lanes, which should mean less traffic, hopefully. Medium density demand is creeping back up, and I guess I can place a building here. Now, I think that's about all the buildings we can really place over here, but I think that this area really does just look nice, as it looks like an old village. And again, we see plenty of people are walking, and services are still functioning. There are still police cars and still garbage trucks, and I think this is just a really cool feature in the game. I know I've said it a lot, but I really do think it is. This forest fire is going away. This forest fire did go away, which is a very good thing. So over here, there's a crime scene, and it's not going to get addressed because it is not in a zone. So we'll do the same thing we did with the incineration plant, and just drag it over. Hopefully, that's problem solved. Now again, right now, our main thing is we have medium density demand, but before we do that, I think it might be worth looking into not only building industrial, but also maybe building a port. But right now, just really quick, I would like to kind of level this area out. And then use the soften terrain tool to make this look a little better. Now, I'm not sure how realistic it is just to have an open highway with no barriers go onto a bridge, because you would expect something like this where there is at least some kind of thing that can stop you, but it's not there. So just to fix that, I do think I'll put these sound barriers, and I think that should be good. Now, to build ports, I believe we do have to research water. Not research, but unlock water. And then go into public transit. Now, I do have the Ports and Bridges DLC, so this actually means I can build, like, custom ports. But even if I didn't do that, we can see that there is not a ton of space to build a normal one. So it's a good thing I have this. Now, I think as far as which port building we should use, I think we should use the medium port because it has a great mix between functionality and upgrades and price and upkeep. Now, the harder thing to do now is deciding where we're actually going to put it. For a port, you usually want to put it on like a larger road, especially if you have a large footprint for industrial. Now, luckily I do have a bit of flat land here. We do have a train track here, and we've got a bit of money. Now, I do want to pay back a little bit of our loan, or all of it, I guess, because we can. And now I want to look into the actual road. I think that it would make sense to take something off the highway and then bring it down over here. And I think we could actually do kind of some sort of underpass, just because we do have a lot of space. And because it is elevated, and we can just bring it under, and over here it'll actually be even with the terrain. So I think I'll just do that now. That's the actual intersection complete, and now we can actually build the highway. Now, as far as where I'm gonna link up the highway, I'm not too sure about. And for now, I think I might actually keep it independent from anything else. This is because I don't want it to get flooded with traffic, and I want it to stay mainly as trucks only. That is our intersections done, along with our bridge, and I think this area is looking much more complete. Now, this video has gotten pretty long, so I think we will end it here. Anyways, that's the end of this video, and I really want to thank you for watching through the whole thing. It really means a lot. In the meantime, if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them down below, and have yourself a great day.